Hey everybody, welcome back to part 2 of this ZK Adventure review thing I am in the process of working on. I took a little bit of a break from it to finish up Walls of CSLP 4, and now that that's done, I can get back to doing this and some other new things in the world of Chips Challenge. So we left off on, what was this, Forced? Yeah, this was Forced. We already, or I already gave my comments on this level. So we'll move on to the next one, which we are just, I think we're just now at the halfway point in ZK1. I'm hoping to finish ZK1 up in this video, so we can, as if I can quote Zane, move on to the more interesting levels. So I agree with him on that one. Alright, so the next level up is Under the Surface. This one, I actually really enjoyed playing this, even though the idea behind it is pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Just looking at the whole map is like it's a satisfying thing to me personally. Just seeing like dirt and scattered gravel everywhere, and like upon first glance, you really wouldn't think you have to guide a teeth through this, but you do. And I actually really like that this is what this level turned out to be, all things considered. That being said, though, it's again nothing out of the ordinary. So there was really nothing to praise it for other than the aesthetics and whatnot. But at the same time, there's nothing to really fault it for. I had fun with it, so that's my thoughts on that one. Next up was Sprout. This one had a Spin Cycle by JB vibe to it. I don't know if I ever said that when I played this in the LP, but when I really think about it, that's what it makes me think of. Because JB's Spin Cycle level is like one of the most memorable like levels of his I can think of from way back when. This one was just kind of like that, except with a pattern to it, sort of. I do remember I had way more fun trying to line all the blocks up in a row to make like a little snake moving around the forest floors, as opposed to actually getting the blocks to the water. But it's not a bad level by any means. It just wasn't a favorite. I think that's self-explanatory. So yeah, nothing more to say about that one. Up next is Volcano. This one I recall that, what was it? That you yeah, I recalled that I didn't need to, or thought I didn't need to solve the Sokoban and it could just wait it out and have the fireballs press all the buttons, until I later found out that this trap right here existed. Yeah, that was a really clever thing to include. That it enforces the Sokoban though, which is cool. That being said, it's pretty cool. I like ideas like this are pretty cool with solving a Sokoban in the time limit determined by a mechanism, which is this ball thing up here. I don't know about now, but I know Zane had a knack for timing mechanisms like this, or timer mechanisms like this. So there's a few of them, or there was a few of them in ZK1. I think there was a few in ZK2. I don't remember, but there's been a few scattered around all the sets that we played. So yeah, I gave it a 6, and there's nothing else I have to say about it really. Next up is Trail of Color. Now, on first glance, it just looks like you collect every key you see, but it's actually a maze, and a really clever one. The You have to avoid the blue keys to get to the exit, and everything else you can collect to get through it. Really, it's a really simple idea, but I like the implementation of it. Is that the word? I think so. I like the way it was implemented. I think the only thing I have really to say bad about this is you don't know if you have to get the blue keys and follow that path or the colored ones, and I kind of guessed when I first played it. But to be honest, it's one of those things where if you get it wrong the first time, you automatically know what to do the second try. So, I mean, I'm not going to be that person and say I dislike that level for having to restart once had I had to do that. So I'm not faulting it for that. It's a pretty solid maze, so I enjoyed it. Next up is... Oh, wrong window. Tilling, or tiling. Well, I don't know. It's another maze, but it's more focused on this checkered... Well, not checkered, but... Well, I guess in a way it is kind of checkered. Checkered ice... Not ice. Exit placements. I need to talk, seriously. It's been a while since I recorded something officially, besides the bus thing I did today. Besides the point. So this one was pretty cool, actually. I really love the aesthetics of this one as well, even though they're simple. But I really enjoyed it. I think including blue walls to reach the exit was a really cool touch to exit. And just a really neat aesthetic overall. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about this whatsoever. If anything, the only reason why I gave it an 8 is, what was the reason? I gave these ratings weeks ago, and I honestly don't remember why I gave them these. I think 7, 8, and 9 was just kind of like a random thing just to have a variety of numbers. But, I mean, I still liked it, so 8 is pretty good. And the whole rating system is honestly really pointless. So the number you see, just you make of it what you will. Honestly, I mean, the only numbers that really matter are 0, 5, and 10. Anything in between those three numbers is however you want to view it. Next up is Flooded. This one... What was this level? What was the goal? Let me see. Use blocks to get to the flippers. Okay. Get the red key. Wait, do you need the red? No. You have to get the red key first, and then get the flippers, and then you go around and you use the blocks to bridge to the exit. Okay. So yeah, it was one of these levels where you have to build a path before your flippers get stolen. This concept has been done a dozen or 2 times by other designers, myself included. And this wasn't the most exciting thing to play, but I still enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. Oh wait, no, you used the red key on that red block, not this one. That one, I think that threw me off. I don't remember this one, to be completely honest. Okay, what was next? Frozen. Let it go. I'm not gonna make the joke. I already did. So, based on what I'm seeing, I think what this one was an item swapper with dodging monsters to get all the items, and then, of course, the last item you get is the skates. You use the skates to get to all the chips, and you go to the exit. Nothing else to really say about it. It was just engaging to play, though. That's the only reason I gave it a 3. It was engaging. It kept my interest, even though it was just item swapping. Other than that, it's nothing special. Next up is The Unknown. Now, this one, I have a few things about this one. Well, not a few, just maybe 1 or 2. The first thing, and probably the foremost thing, is this hidden yellow key. Really feel like that didn't need to be under a block. I know there's a few people out there in the design world that have this hatred for things, hiding things under blocks and calling it hidden information. Believe me, I'm not one of those people, and I'm really trying not to make myself out to be like one of those people. But I don't think it needed to be under the block. I mean, if there was like some kind of indication that, oh hey, there's a key under the block, like okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But it was just one of those things where you actually had to try to look for it. I mean, maybe that was the intent. I don't know. I feel like that was the intent, which is cool. But I don't know. Like I know when I first played it, it didn't sit well with me. But everything else was pretty solid. The little blue key collection puzzle to not get more than four at the end was pretty fun. Uh, I remember the blob died in the water when I played it, which is really rare. Well, not really rare, but like unusual. Not what you would expect in an LP episode, but it happened, and I don't know. I enjoyed it for the most part. Just I think I could have enjoyed it a little bit better if there was some indication that the yellow key was under the block, or just not under the block to start with. I don't know. I mean, you already had to go into the blob room to get it, so I mean, what harm would it have done to have it like right here or right here, like a little alcove? You know, that's just my 2 cents. They don't matter. Next up is Blazing Heat. This one I enjoyed. Like, I really enjoyed this one. And not for the fact I solved it on the first try, which was completely unexpected. But this idea is. I don't think I've ever seen it done before. Out of every custom set I've played. I haven't played a lot of custom sets, but the ones I've played and ones I've seen be played or be made or whatever, I've never seen this type of concept done before, to my knowledge. And I really love the way it was implemented here. Like, it's super reasonable, it's small, it's, in Tyler's and Zane's words, there's no unnecessary chips to collect. It's just you go back and forth and collect blocks to get to the exit before the whole circle or crater or whatever it is, before it fills up. This was really fun. I really don't understand what made me give it a 7 when I gave these ratings, but like I said, between 5 and 10 and 0 and 5, the numbers just really don't mean anything. It's just a magnitude of how much I liked it and how much I, want to see it in an official set. I think that's what it was. As much as I like it, I don't see this getting into an official set because it's all the level is. But just for the level, I really liked it. Yeah, I gotta click the window. And next up is Pet. This one built up not a huge reputation, but it did build up something because of the time limit. And the time limit wasn't even an issue when I played it. I mean, if the path was longer for the blob, yeah, it would be a little problematic, but I think I had like over 30 seconds left when I played this. I wish I can go check, but I don't have a TWS file for this set anymore because my computer is, crap. So, yeah. I like this level though. Blob guiding isn't seen all that done. I did this concept in Walls of CCLP3. I personally think this is a tad bit better than that level I made. Just because this is more open and the one I made is, it was built within a wall structure. So I only had so much space to work with. But this had like no restrictions whatsoever, and I just think this one's a little bit better designed, and it's the same concept. So, yeah. Next up is Submerged. I don't have any real thing to say about this one. It just felt like a level. That's really all it was. I mean, looking at it from here as a full map level, it looks really cool with the random water tiles in the pathways and stuff. I mean, the navigation bit of it was cool, but it's just going around and around. It reminded me of a level by Andrew Menzies. I don't remember the name of it, but it really reminded me of it. And I remember I didn't really care for that one either. So, I don't remember the name of it. Next up is Off the Leash. I think Zane just said something to me about this on Discord. About porting it to CC2 or something like that. I don't know. Anywho, this one... Now this one reminds me, or actually, not even reminds me, it directly makes me think of Outlast from Jeffrey's Ultimate Chip 6 set. Now, I don't recall when ZK1 was remade exactly. Nor do I recall when Ultimate Chip 6 came out. So I don't know which one came first. But they both have the same general idea, except this one involves a little bit of item swapping and going back and forth. Well, the concept is going back and forth. But this one takes an item swapping approach, and the one Jeffrey made is more. It has a key swapping bit, and then it has a chip collecting bit, and that was it. I honestly like both levels. I'm gonna be more focused on this one than the other, but this one I liked. It's just, I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of time to think about this level. I liked it. The concept's cool. I don't really have anything against it. It's just a neat little exercise in seeing the same concept done by two completely different designers and different styles. And to be honest, I kind of like this style better, just because it's not on the bottom of the map like the other one is. I think it was called Outlast. But that level was entirely on the bottom edge of the level. This one's centered. It looks nice, and well, the other one looks nice too. But this one looks nicer being centered. And while I understand why the other one was kept on the bottom edge, I just prefer this one just slightly, just because it's centered. I mean, that's a really weird way to say it, but I like both levels. So, yeah. Next up is In Flames. Now this is a level type I really like. Like navigating through blocks and fire and such like that. It has such a neat little design to it. I like it a lot. And it was just fun to navigate through. You know, it had a little bit of using some of the blocks on bombs. Really straightforward level, all in all, but I just like the way it looks. The way it flows. It's not a hard level by no means whatsoever. Just fun navigating through a mess of fire, and that's it. I keep clicking off the window. I don't know why. Next one is To and Fro. This one is weird. I don't know what else to say about this one, to be completely honest. I have no idea what to say about this one. I kind of understand what the goal of it was. It was basically luck. I think, what is that in the corner up there? The number's blocking it. A blob. So there's a blob right here that the number 1's covering. And it controls a toggle button. The toggle button, whether it's pressed or not, determines what maze you go through. But you can just wait and see like where you go. Um, I mean, I don't know. I didn't really understand it when I played it. I still don't really understand it. The concept I get, but I don't understand. There's just something about it I don't get, and I can't place what is exactly it is. So, um, yeah, I don't have anything more to say. Sorry. What's next? Mirror. This one is. There's been a few levels like this in ZK Adventure, where one half is one half, and then the other half is has hot blocks and stuff. Like it's completely mirrorized and flipped, or yeah, flipped and mirrorized. Um, it's one of those levels, and I've never really been a big fan of levels like that. If I'm completely honest, there's nothing. I have nothing really against levels like this. It's just they're just not my thing. And this was, I think, the first one that I encountered in ZK Adventure, and I like this one because of how small it is. It wasn't long at all. It didn't take long to solve or anything. So yeah, I I just don't really. I never really cared for concepts like this. And there is a way to determine, what blocks are safe and whatnot. But I don't know. I've just never been a real fan of concepts like this. I like this one though. All right, next up is Skyscraper. Um, it's pretty self-explanatory what the goal is. Get to the top to open up the toggle door and slide up to the exit while you're avoiding a bug doing it. The structure of it is cool. I'm surprised that Zane went with this type of wall configuration where the walls aren't connected at a 90-degree angle. Um, like right here, they are, but right here, they're not. And up here, they are too, but down here, they're not. I don't know if that was intentional or not. It's weird to see that in a Zane level. So, other than that, it was just a level. I liked it. Next up is Inverted. Exactly as the title says, it's just the Sokomans are practically all pretty much already solved. You just have to move everything out of the way to get two other buttons covered on both sides. Did you have to collect both of them? You had to collect both chips, yes. It's basically they're both basically duplicates of each one. You just gotta do each one. You gotta do them both. So nothing more to say about that one. Next up is Railroad, or the Railroad. I do know this one is probably one of the few levels that existed in the very, very old ZK1 back in 2012. And this was retained and revised. I actually revised and not replaced. This was fun. I don't remember playing. I think I did play it at one point, but I don't remember the experience of the old one. But I did enjoy this one. The concept was cool. It wasn't really hard or frustrating to play. And it was straightforward. I mean, what else can you say? That was the Railroad. And next up is Rebound. Now, like this town ain't big enough for the both of us, this one was also later changed to fix this section right here. Because the version I played in ZK Adventure, and I think I went back and replayed this version as well. This one in MS required a half wait to get both these chips. because these ice tiles I think were three. I think it was only three tiles long or wide, and it required a half weight to get both of them. And if I recall, that wasn't intentional, but after I replayed it, I had a little bit of a different opinion of this level, but at the end of the day, I just didn't like it. I don't remember where Rebound was. I think I liked that one slightly more, but this one just felt, I don't know. It never really sat well with me. I replayed it and had gathered a different opinion of it, yeah, but I still didn't like it, and it's mostly because of this section right here with the force floors, because you have to like act fast with that. Like once you get the block down here, you have to get it off like right away, or you're done. And it was one of those things that I couldn't really get right a lot when I played it. So yeah, I mean, other than that, it was fun, but I just didn't like it. Sorry. Next up is Downtown. I remember I had a little bit of trouble with this one, but not to the extent of Rebound and Town Ain't Big Enough. I think I had problems with this ending section right here, but once I figured out like what exactly to do, it was quite clever. I was like, yeah, whatever. The top section in particular with the pop-up walls, I really like that. I actually used this in a level in Walls of CCLP 3. I don't know if anyone really caught that, but this section did inspire something in Walls of CCLP 3. Because I really enjoyed how this one worked out. But yeah, I had fun with it for the most part. The ending took a little bit to get right, but once I got it, I realized it was really cool how it worked. So that gets a pass for me. And the ball dodging, honestly, wasn't that problematic. It could have been way worse. And I've dealt with way worse ball patterns like this, so these ones weren't really anything compared to what I have played before. So, anyway, moving on to World 1. This is the first of a series of Sokoban levels that are all connected together. I think the concept of them being all in one level and you only solve one in each individual level is cool, but as one part to a multi-phase level, I don't have anything to say about it. I like the Sokoban. That's really the only reason. That's really the only thing I could rate it on was the Sokoban. To be completely honest, the Sokoban was cool, but that's really it I have to say about that one. Make the Escape. Now this one was interesting. You had a choice of a few different things. You had a choice to either go through the traps and take a longer path, or move the blocks in such a way to take a shortcut. Whether that is actually a shortcut is beyond me. I don't think I ever took this path. I don't think I even caught it, to be completely honest. And then the next room, you had a choice of getting 2 red keys in longer paths, or take a risky path and go through blobs and get 2 right off the bat. And then likewise, you had the choice to take a slide to go down here to get this yellow key, or take a long slide around it to be safe. And then likewise, the end path, you can take the Daredevil Force Floor Precision Slide, or go around safely. So it had a few choices for you to take. You could take the risky way, or be completely safe about the entire thing. I like levels like that do that. I don't think there's enough out there, and I don't think I've ever made one myself. Maybe I have, I just can't think of it. This one was cool though. I think the only thing about it was the blobs. I personally would have probably put the red keys a little closer, not much. I probably would have put them like right here. Just a little closer so you didn't have to go all the way to the edge because um, you can get really unlucky with the blobs, which I get is the point. Um, but like the blobs can easily corner you. They can make it harder to get these keys, and honestly, it'd probably be faster to get both of these keys than it would to get these two, based on how the blobs act when you're going out to get with these two keys. I don't know. And this slide, I don't know if that's even possible to go through or not. I don't remember if I managed to go through that or not. I don't remember. The slide I see is doable, but just barely. And there was no way I was going to take that slide to get to the end faster, because you still have to walk to get to the exit. So, yeah, for the concept it was cool, and for the choices you had was cool. I would have made a little bit of a difference with some things, but I'm not the designer, so yeah. Next up is Warehouse B, and this is just another Sokoban. And I think I found out that both the warehouse levels, actually most of the Sokobans in ZK Adventure, are adapted. So yeah, that just further indicates I don't have anything more to say about these Sokoban levels, other than the fact that they were cool Sokobans. And look at that, we got our 10 for the set. And yeah, this is the only level in the ZK1 stuff that I gave a 10. This is Reverse. This level I absolutely liked. Like, I loved this level. And this is one I absolutely want to see in CCLP 5 one day. I really hope this gets submitted. This is one of my high picks for the set. The puzzle was pretty damn good, to be completely honest. It was really cool how it all came together. It stumped me for a while, and I think that's what I liked the most about it. It was a puzzle that actually stumped me for a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't remember all the details to the solution, which is good because I want to like relive how it's solved whenever I go back to play this one day. But I just remember I really liked the way it flowed. I loved the way the puzzle was put together, and it was just a really awesome level. Like, really good job with this. Yeah, I really hope this gets into CCLP 5. I hope other people that play this level, admire it the same way I do, but I hope that was shuffling and that didn't happen. So, yeah. we'll see, but I really like this one. This is my 10 of ZK1. And we are going to move on to... what is this one? Infection. This is also another level I really liked as well. It's one of those cliche avoid the red keys level, except you actually have to get some of them to get the chips. I need to click on this in the editor. Well, let me see. Were all the chips... nice hint with LOL. Okay, so there's one extra chip. And you have to collect... let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 red keys. So you have 12 keys you have to collect, and no more than 12. And you have one chip to skip. I like the way all the sections, connected. It's not a linear level, it's actually really open-ended. The blob room is really cool, and you can do that without taking a single red key, which is really nice. The ball dodging room is pretty cool as well. The joyride section, it's not much of a joyride if you choose to get red keys on that, but if you avoid them, then it becomes one. And just, simple path to get these chips, that chip, blah, blah, blah. It was just a really nice put together level. For a concept that's been done a lot, it was cool. I enjoyed it for what it's worth. Next up is 5, and appropriately, I went ahead and gave it a 5. Now, this one I remember very well that the time limit was a huge issue with this because you have all this. Well, it's honestly from this perspective, it doesn't look like a lot of block pushing. It really doesn't. But when you actually play it and you have to realize, oh, you have to shuffle the blocks around to get the Sokomans solved and everything, that's when it becomes really a real time crunch for you. And I don't know. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I actually like it when levels surprise you with a time crunch feel. Like, when I first saw the level, when I first played it, I didn't think I said, okay, 5:55 time limit. This is going to take, half that. Maybe a little bit more than half of it. And then I got to, I don't remember, like 10 or 15 seconds left. And I don't think I even solved it in the time limit on the first try. So the time limit did get me. But I like it when levels do that, when they throw that at you all of a sudden. I know not a lot of people would, but I did. However, that being said, it's not exactly something I want to see in CCLP5, despite the 5s, I liked it. It's not a level I hate. It's not a level I strongly like, but it's not a level I can't stand, so it was pretty cool. I liked it, for what it's worth. Doppler effect. This was a oddball. If I had to pick a word to describe this one, this was an oddball. I really don't have anything to say about this one. The goal was to get I think the goal was to not have the tank flip. But you didn't really have a lot of ways to make the tanks flip unless you actually hit the tank button yourself. But even then, you'd probably die by this ball anyway. I do remember that this block slide right here, I do like that. I thought that was really cool how that worked out. The invisible wall mazes there hasn't been a lot of them in this set, so I did appreciate the use of invisible walls here, and everything else just kind of felt standard. So yeah, that's Doppler effect. Damn it, I don't have the right window up. Okay, zombies. Now this one is going to be kind of weird to cover because this level appears 5 times, but each one has a different difficulty setting. This is the first one, so obviously this one is the easiest. It's just running around, collect everything, and get to the exit. There's really nothing else to it. You have teleports that make it easier to navigate, which you can most likely not even use because of the cloning speed of all the tooth monsters. And yeah, it was just really easy. So I gave it a 2. We'll cover the next one here in a little bit. It's coming up. Next up is World 2. How convenient. So yeah, this is another level where I mentioned with the timer mechanism. This is another one that has that. This one was kind of weird as well. To get the blocks. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh no, I'm not on World 2. I'm sorry. I misread that. I got confused with one of the other zombie levels. This was Encumbered. Yeah, that's the level. Yeah, this was just basically a guide blocks to the exit before time runs out, really. You do have to wait for a block to clone, which is a little weird that you have to wait, but it's whatever. Other than that, it was a really cool level. I liked it. I say that about all these levels. We must be real here. Even the ones I gave a 0, I still liked in some way. But yeah, it was just a pretty straightforward level. Next up is shoplifting. Man, I was not ready to record this tonight. Now, this one was an interesting challenge to solve. This reminded me of that one level in CCLP 1 that honestly might have been an inspiration to this. Uh, you have this, like, if you know what level that is, I think it was Portcullis or something. It's basically that level, but just in Zane style. And I wasn't a big fan of Portcullis, to be honest. I'm still really not. But for a level that could, for all I know, be inspired by it, I like this one. I thought it was really cool. Now, because of Portcullis, I don't think this has any chance of getting into an official set because of the similarities between the two. But I appreciate how it looks different and how it, even in some extent, it felt different. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I had fun with this. Okay, next up is the second zombies level, the one I got confused by. This was round 2, I think, is what... Does it say that? I think it used to, but not in this version. So this just shortens up the cloning mechanism a little bit. It shortens it. It blocks off some of the teleporters, but not all of them. And most of the chips are actually near the cloner itself. Though the level was still fairly easy for the most part. So there's really nothing else to say about this. World 2. Okay, yeah, this is where I'm at. So, like World 1, all I can really rate this on is the Sokobans themselves. I think this Sokoban stumped me. I don't know what made... I don't remember, but I think it stumped me. And it surprised it. I was surprised it did. But if it's an adapted one, then yeah, I don't have anything else to really comment on about it. Next up is the river. Now, back in the day, I know Zane really liked my Up the River level in Josh L2. Probably one of the few people that actually really liked that level, which surprises me. Well, it surprises me that it's liked, not the fact that Zane likes it, just the fact that it's a likable level. But whatever, I'm happy for that. But this just kind of elevates it to like a whole other level. So it's just a bunch of block pushing, yes, but just look at the aesthetics of this. You have all these scattered blocks in the walls, which is probably an overused aesthetic in terms of CC1 design, or even in CC2 design, this can be overused very easily. But for CC1 using this aesthetic and everything, I mean, I don't think there's a single level that has this aesthetic that is not fun to play. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just my thing. For the level itself, I had fun with it. The ending kind of scared me a little bit because I wasn't sure if I was making the right decisions or not. But I think I got it right when I played it. So, yeah, really good level. Alright, Zombies, the third one. Yeah. I also gave this one a 3. So the chips there's no chips around the center anymore. There's 2 cloners now, and there's more teleporters dropped or blocked off. You can go through each direction once. And the frequency of the cloning is faster, and which makes it a little bit harder, but I don't think it was that bad when I played it. I think I might have died once or twice. It sucks that I don't have a way to watch my solutions, but Well, what can you do? Next up is Lake of Fire. This is a really simplified type of maze. It just consists of fire and water as the boundaries, and it's just get to the exit. Um, this aesthetic is really interesting, but I like it. Um, it's not an aesthetic I don't ever think I've seen before for being as simple of a maze as it is. It's really cool how it looks, and it was fun to play. All being said, it was just a maze, so I don't have anything really more to say about it other than the fact it was a cool maze to play. It was a nice little breather level in between all the zombie levels from where I was with the set. Next up is Outside the Box. This one, what I really liked about it the most was it used invisible walls with these two blocks right here. Invisible wall Sokomans are not a common thing to see. I know I've done them a few times. I don't think anyone other than Zane has done it before. And it was just really cool to see it be done by someone else. That was the highlight of the level for me personally. Of course, you have the partial post to get these two chips right here. Actually, they're the only two chips in the level. So, yeah. It was just a really cool level to play. Alright, Zombies, round 4. Yeah, round 4. Gets a little harder. You don't have the teleporters to help you out here. You're completely on your own with running. But there is one cloner once again, but the frequency is every 4 moves. Which makes it harder significantly, but still doable. Definitely gave me a thrill when I played it. But that's really all I have to say. Next up is Desert. This is just a pretty typical dirt and block maze level. Another cool one, mind you. But I've seen lots of levels like this where blocks are the walls and you have to clear the dirt to get the blocks out of the way. But you don't have to do that here. You can completely just go around all the blocks to get to the exit. Which is nice. I think as I'm mapping this by looking at it, I think I see a loop from right here. You go around here, boop, 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 right there, and you go up and around. Yep, there's a loop in the level too. I never caught that when I played it. Cool. I'm really glad there wasn't anything hidden under the blocks. I've seen a few levels that had that, and I wasn't a big fan of that. It was just another get to the exit level, so there's not much to really comment on. But I liked it, even though it was a level that's been overdone, in my opinion. But either way. Next up is difficulty. Now this one is cool. You have a choice of how hard of a difficulty you want to play. Now, I don't remember if I did or not, but I think what I wanted to do was to solve each one. I don't think I ever did the 3 one because of how much joyriding you have to do. Looking at it, the middle one looks harder because you're going left and right, and this one's just going up. The left one is just a slide, but I know the time limit was low. What was the time limit on that? 15 seconds? Yeah. Yeah, it was a nice idea with the concept of choosing what difficulty you want, and like I said, it's not a concept that's done a lot, so I appreciate it when levels do that. But it was all focused on pretty much the same thing. The ice slide changed it up a bit, But the fact that 2 and 3 are both joyrides just kind of felt like, I don't know, what's the word I want to use? Like a cop out? I don't like saying that because I don't want to think that's what it was, but I mean, the middle one could have been, whoa, the middle one could have been, anything else, really. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I mean, that's what the point of this review thing is. I'm not doing that good of a job in this part, because I didn't prepare to record tonight. I didn't plan on it. I just kind of said, well, screw it, let's do it, just to get it out of the way. And next up is the last zombies level, and my least favorite of them for very obvious reasons. The teleporters are completely gone. Like, they don't even exist. They're just walls now. All the chips are on the outside. The cloning's more frequent again. And you're just mad dogging it all around the level to get every chip. Now, they can be fun with that type of cloning, but I don't know. It felt like something you'd play in like early 2000s, like CCLP2 era. I don't know if that's an insult or not. I apologize if it is. But it felt like a level you'd play like back in CCLP2 days or early CCLP3 days. But that being said, I did like it because, it's I mean, like I said, I like 99% of the levels. There's very few levels I actively dislike. Because I don't hold my personal play experiences against the level like most people do. So, but that being said, though, it just wasn't that interesting. It was just get around it and go. And next up is a level I absolutely do not like. I know I just said there's very few levels I dislike. This is one of those few, and I'm not ashamed to say that. This level right here is Toll. Let me take a drink of my Kool-Aid because I'm thirsty. Okay, there we go. This is Toll. Now, looking at it, what you would think, okay, you cross the pop-up walls back and forth, you get yellow keys and go back and forth. No big deal, right? Well, there's a little bit more to that. So, first things first, let's talk about the things I do like about this one. You have this little pop-up wall, toggle wall thing you have to keep going back and forth through. And pressing a toggle button to go back, and so on and so forth. That part is cool. I really like the way that's implemented here. The blue wall maze, no big deal. Of course, that's not going to be a big deal to me. Get a red key, go up here, get a yellow key, go back down, and do something, get another red key, blah, blah, blah. You just keep going back and forth with it. And it makes it interesting because of the pop-up walls and this mechanism right here, this quote-unquote toll. So, yeah, I like that part. The two things I do not like about this one whatsoever is guiding the tooth monster to the trap button, because you have all these balls to deal with. And the next one is the fact that all 8 of these blocks around this teleport right here are required. Like, every single one of them you need to get this yellow key so you can get the remaining chips and go back up to the exit. Now, I don't know about you. I don't mind block pushing by any means, but you got doing 8. I think that's just a little too demanding, and nothing will really change my mind about that. I don't think 8 needed to be all used. I would have halved it, so only 4 were used. That's just me. But I didn't like the fact that all eight of these were required, and I wasn't really a big fan of guiding this guy right here through these balls to this trap button. It being used for the trap button is, really cool, but just the guiding itself was just kind of annoying to me, really. Um, and even though those are the only two things I don't like about the level, they it the fact that they all failed on me like back to back to back to back the way they did when I played the level. I know I just said I don't hold personal play experiences against levels, and that's not really the case here. But it did dwell after a while. It kind of lagged on, and it just felt like it was never ending. Like I kept having the feeling like, okay, I'm 6 blocks in. I have seven. I have two more to go to get this yellow key right here, and then you just die by one of the balls because you mistimed it. So you have to replay everything, go through the blue wall maze, blah blah blah. It's not even one of those expect the first try solve things. It's not even that. Like failing once or twice, 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times. That's fine. That's part of the game. Like that's what makes Chip's Challenge Chip's Challenge. You learn from your mistakes. That's what CC1 taught us. But it's one thing to learn from your mistakes. It's another one when you fail at the really simple dodging. You're guiding a tooth monster through other monsters to get it to a spot you need it to get to, and that tooth monster you're guiding could potentially deflect a ball or change the ball pattern on you and make it, for better or for worse, on the remainder of the level you have left. I don't know. I just didn't really like it. Talking about it here, I could raise that 0 up to like a 2 or a 3 max, but I still didn't really like it, all things considered. Sorry. It's one of the few in ZK1 I disliked. And this is ZK1. So the fact that I only have three or four zeros in this is not bad at all. I think that's honestly like way better than anyone was expecting. So like it was cool. I really need to finish up here. How many more do I got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 more. Okay, we can do this. Okay, next up is moving. This one, I do remember that Zane mentioned that these Sokobands are actually original, which is cool. I like the idea behind this one of moving some blocks to the right side and some blocks to the left. Really cool. I like the level. I've used this outside blue key aesthetic before, or I used it in Walls of CCLP3. There's a lot of Walls of CCLP3 references here in this batch tonight. But since that's all the level was, there's nothing much to really say about it. I just had fun playing it. Next up is World 3, appropriately. This one kind of changes it up and has you go back through the previous quote-unquote worlds to get the flippers. But you still got another Sokoban to solve, and once you solve that, you're on your way out. So, yeah, that's World 3. Nothing, I can't say anything about these ones. Next up is Master Key. Now, this one was cool. I like this one. It really made me think about how to get through these little lock nails and how to, get to, get the chip and then go back through to get to the exit. Really cool level. I enjoyed it. It made me think, and it has that, the outside's open, but the inside is the main level. Really glad that decision was made here for this one. Next up is In and Out. This is kind of like an item swapper, really. You go round and round and you swap through keys. I keep doing that. Sorry. You swap keys and you go out and you collect the chips. Now the thing about this one is there's these little traps right here that trap you, and you can probably see them. You can see them when you're going through the dodging stuff, but it's not one of those things you'd be actively paying attention to. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. Honestly, it hasn't yet another joyride. So there's that. But it was a nice little level, nevertheless. It was no toll, that's for sure. Next up is Devil's Island. Now, aesthetically, this has to be probably the most pleasing level in terms of aesthetics in all of ZK1. Now, I don't know if that's actually true or not. I don't know if that's Zane's exact opinion or whatever, but that's mine. So it hits it out of the park with the aesthetics here. However, this is just Bridgemaster 4 times. The path isn't that bad, honestly. And once you get all 4 of them, and you get the last chip and you're out, it's not that bad of a level when you really play it. It looks worse than what it actually is. It's one of those cases. And I like it, for what it's worth. I wasn't really a big fan of Bridgemaster. I don't think I ever will be. But for the concept, it's not bad. It could have been way, way worse. Next up is Colors. Now, this was 100% a time crunch level. Like, you had to not optimize it to solve it, but you had to know what you're doing to actually solve this level. And I gotta say, there's not a lot of levels out there that pull that off well. I think this one pulled it off really good. Because there is an ordering to it, and you have to determine what that ordering is in order to solve it. So this is definitely one of those levels where you actually have to take a few attempts to figure it out. That being said, every individual section is super trivial, but how you go about each section what determines whether you solve it or not. And I like that. It's really cool. Next up, The Thing That Should Not Be. This is just more teeth guiding and block guiding. This definitely could have been way more repetitive than what it actually was. But it wasn't that bad. I had fun with it. It just wasn't really worth... there's just not much to really say about it. And finally, we are on Roads Untraveled, which is the last level of ZK1, which is another maze, and this one was really fun. Gravel and ice just go so well together. They work aesthetically, they work for gameplay, and just the flow of the level is just really cool. Nice way to end ZK1. And yeah, really fun level to play. Looking at the wall structure, though, I know Zane's not really into the walls of levels, which is fine. They're not everyone's thing. I can respect that. But looking at these walls, they're really intriguing. I'd love to use these sometime to make a new level out of them. Because I can see things like this little notch right here. That's perfect for like a block setup. All these little loops around here. Like this little stretch right here can be used for something. Even those two, this right here. I see a lot of potential with these walls. So don't be surprised if you see these walls be used for a level I make sometime. So that all being said, everyone, that concludes this part of the review, which lasted another hour. I really need to figure out a better way to handle this because I mean, hour-long videos, that's a little too long for me to be recording. It's hard on me, especially because you have to keep talking, and there's a lot of the levels in ZK1 that I didn't really have a lot to say on, mostly because I don't remember a lot of them because I don't have a way to watch my solutions except if I watch the videos themselves, which takes longer. So yeah, I'll figure out a way to do ZK2, but ZK1 was the longest set of this. So ZK2 should only last 2 parts as well. Both ZK3s could be their own parts. ZK4 would probably be another 2 as well. So there should be maybe 4 or 5 more parts to this. But that concludes ZK1. Overall, ZK1, if I had to give that section of the set a rating out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 5. I mean, you gotta think about it. I mean, in terms of originality, ZK1 did a few things good. Execution-wise, some things could have been done better. I know that that one level, what was it called, Moon, wasn't the right one to play, or not the right one to play. That's not the word. It was busted. I think I mentioned that before. I don't remember. But there's just a couple of levels in ZK1 I didn't like. But there was a few standouts. Like Frost was a big one. Blazing Heat was another. Reverse. Colors. What else? Master Key. Master Key I could have gave a better rating, honestly. Trail of Color, Under the Surface. 1% battery remaining. There was another one. Well, what am I missing? Oh, Infection, yeah. Infection was another one. Roads Untraveled. There's a few levels in ZK1 that are really good. But for the most part, there were a tad too many ones that just felt like a chore to get through. And I don't think Zane's really going to really hold that accountable on me because, I mean, he's told me several times on Discord that ZK1's like the worst one of his sets because a lot of it is filler, and I think that's what it is. That's another reason why there wasn't much to say about the ZK1 stuff is because a lot of it was just filler. There's not much you can say about that. So, but for ZK2 and on, I think we'll be a little bit more ecstatic with those levels. Those ones are way more interesting, especially in ZK3 and 3A, which I'm really looking forward to getting to. But we have to get through ZK2 first. So until then, guys, I don't know when I'll actually start that one, but you'll see it when you'll see it. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. I will try to establish a sort of better rating scale as well, because I know the one I have is kind of lame. Or I might just abandon it entirely. I don't know. I need to think about it. So until then, we'll see you guys next time.